Hi everyone, it's Olivia for this week's Lazy Sunday Book Club. I hope you're all well and you've been enjoying the sunshine, getting lots of reading done in the beautiful sunshine. I know I have. This week I thought I would stick with what's sort of going on at the moment and go for an end of the world theme with the books that I've selected this week. I know maybe at the beginning of this whole coronavirus situation it certainly felt like it was sort of end of the world and quite dire. And now we're sort of coming out the other side of it. Hopefully we can all now appreciate some end of the world dystopian style books. So I've picked quite a nice little selection with different things happening in each, rather than just sticking with a virus for all of them, because it maybe get a little bit depressing. So I've tried to pick some that, you know, will help you escape from the world that we're currently in, hopefully. And hopefully some of these will be new to you that you haven't read before. So the first one I wanted to mention is quite an old one now, but I've not yet read it and I'm looking forward to reading it. It's just quite a large book, which is sort of why I've put it off so long. It's The Stand by Stephen King. So what it's about is one man that escapes from a biological weapon facility and basically ends up spreading a real killer virus and ends up wiping out most of the world. And then in the aftermath, it's about the survivors and how they end up following one woman called Boulder or another man called Randall Flagg. And it's about how the factions end up confronting in this post-apocalyptic world. So like I said, I've not read that yet, but I'm looking forward to reading that one. Another one that you probably have heard of, more so because it is a film, a Brad Pitt film, is World War Z. That's by Max Brooks, and obviously, if you didn't know from the film or from the title, it is about a world where zombies end up taking over. So it starts with patient zero out in China and then ends up rapidly spreading throughout the world. And the book is sort of told from an aspect of sort of a fictional journalist, and he interviews different sort of main characters that were involved in the 10-year battle against the virus and the zombies. And sort of has sort of interviews with each of those. So I've not actually read the book myself, but I know that it'd be quite good now that I've seen the film to go back and actually read the book, especially with that sort of twist in it, the fact it is sort of done from a journalistic point of view. The third book I wanted to talk about, and you definitely would have heard of this, but the main reason I'm talking about it is there has been a new book released in the series, is The Hunger Games. So I'm a massive Hunger Games fan and read them quite a lot of times, but just the other week there was a brand new book in the series which is actually a prequel. So it's set 65 years before the Hunger Games series, and it features President Snow as a young boy. And obviously if you didn't know what Hunger Games is about, it's basically about North America, but it's set in a sort of a different time scale, I guess, in the sense that there's been this massive war, and what the main capital does to try and make people remember that, you know, they don't want to go back into a war or anything like that. And the way that they keep the sort of other districts in line is that they ask every district to send a boy and a girl to battle to the death, basically. It sounds pretty grim, but it does make for a really brilliant series. I've just managed to get the sequel, which is called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, on Borrowbox. So if you've got Borrowbox and you're desperate to read it, then get on there and jump on the waiting list for it, and you'll get on there after I've read it. My next book is Bird Box. So again, you might have heard of this mainly because it's a Netflix film, and it's by Josh Malerman. And it's about the world being taken over by something terrifying. You don't ever sort of find out what that is, but basically what happens is if you see it, it ends up driving you mad, and you end up becoming really dangerously violent towards others and towards yourself. And what the story is about, it follows Mallory and her two young children, and it goes between how they sort of got to the present day in the book and about their sort of experience of what happens. And then brings you all the way up and into the present, where they're trying to navigate down a 20-mile long river with blindfolds on so that they don't encounter whatever this mysterious horror is. I've seen the film, but I've heard the book is meant to be a lot better, so I'll be making sure to grab a copy of that. And finally, The Man in the High Castle. So again, you probably heard of this because this is actually an Amazon series, so I'm sort of taking off my other video where I did book to film adaptations, and Zara obviously did book to TV adaptations the other week. But I've watched a few of the episodes of the TV series, and I'm really intrigued to read the book. So The Man in the High Castle is set in a 1962 world where the US actually lost the war, and so it's occupied by Nazi Germany and Japan. And it's just about that world and the characters that inhabit that world. The book's by Philip K. Dick, and it was, I think it's quite an old book now, but I want to give that one a read as well. So there's 5 books there that are sort of that end of the world twist. I know some people don't like reading that sort of thing at the moment because it reminds them too much of what's going on, but I actually quite enjoy it for escapism, take me into sort of other eventualities, well, not eventualities, I hope we don't get zombies one day, but you know, other situations, other worlds. That's what books are about for me, is about escapism and entertainment, and I think these 5 are really good choices for that. So if you read any of those books, put a comment below as to what you've read and if you enjoyed them. Also, make sure to comment if you've got any other sort of end of the world type novels. There's so many out there that came to mind when I was trying to compile this list. So drop a comment as to what your favourite end of the world type book is. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that video, and we will see you next time.